Sometimes a single moment can echo through history, completely changing how millions of people see their own lives. Well, for a huge part of the world, that exact moment happened about 2,500 years ago, in a quiet park. It was when the Buddha gave his very first teaching. This is the story of that teaching, famously known as the turning of the Dharma Wheel. Okay, so let's dive right in. Our guide for this whole explainer is the Sutra of the Three Turnings of the Dharma Wheel itself. We're going straight to the source material to really unpack what was said that day and figure out why it became one of the most influential teachings in all of human history. Now, here's a thought. What if I told you this ancient teaching works a lot like a modern doctor's visit? The Buddha didn't just approach the human condition like a philosopher, but more like a physician. He was asking this totally radical question. What if that fundamental feeling of dissatisfaction we all have isn't just some random curse, but a diagnosable condition, one with a cause, a prognosis, and yes, even a cure? All right, so with that idea in mind, the Buddha as a doctor, let's step into the consulting room. The sutra tells us this wasn't some huge event in a stadium. Nope. The Buddha is in a place called the Deer Park in Benares, and he's speaking to just 5 men, his very first students. This is a really intimate, pivotal moment. The first diagnosis is about to be delivered. And this is absolutely the crucial point. He wasn't just offering up another set of beliefs or rituals to follow. He was presenting a complete reframing of how we experience life. He was literally delivering a diagnosis for that persistent feeling of unease that comes with being human, treating it like a condition that could be understood and, most importantly, overcome. So, this diagnosis and the prescription that goes with it are famously known as the Four Noble Truths. Let's take a look at how they're structured, because the logic here is just incredibly clear, practical, and direct. It's basically a framework for healing. And you can see right here how perfectly this mirrors a medical process. Take a look at step 1, the truth of suffering. That's the diagnosis. The doctor tells you what's wrong. Then step 2, the truth of its cause. That's the etiology. He explains why you're sick. Step 3, the truth of its end. Well, that's the prognosis, the great news that a cure actually exists. And finally, step 4, the path, is the prescription, the actual treatment plan. It's just a brilliant, logical framework. But here's where this specific sutra gets really, really profound. The Buddha says that just hearing these 4 truths, just nodding along intellectually, that's not enough. True understanding, the kind that actually changes you, comes in phases. It's a journey from just knowing something in your head to deeply realizing it in your bones. He calls this whole process the 3 turnings. And you can think of it as 3 layers of understanding for each one of the 4 noble truths. So the first turning is just recognition. The second is the encouragement to actually act on that recognition. And the third is the final confirmation, that full realization in your own experience. And this table here lays it out perfectly. Just look at that first row, for suffering. The first turning is simple recognition. This is suffering. The second is encouragement, the call to action. It should be understood. And the third is realization, the confirmation. It has been understood. And you can see how that same 3-step pattern, recognize it, engage with it, and confirm it, is applied to every single one of the 4 truths. It's like a complete curriculum for wisdom. So what this all really boils down to is bridging that gap between just knowing something and having real wisdom. It's the profound difference between just reading the doctor's prescription and actually taking the medicine, feeling it work, and confirming for yourself that you are well again. One is just information. The other is total transformation. And the amazing thing is, the sutra shows us this happening in real time. As the Buddha is explaining this deep process, the cure actually starts to take effect on one of his students. The theory is put into practice right there, and it builds to this fantastic climax. So at the very end of the teaching, the Buddha turns to one of his disciples, a man named Kondanya, and he asks him this simple, direct question. Do you understand? And Kondanya, who's just gone through all these turnings in his own mind while listening, replies with total certainty, I understand, Blessed One. And in that single instant, everything changes for him. The sutra tells us that because he truly understood, his name itself was changed. He became Ajñāta Kondanya, which literally means Kondanya who understands. The teaching wasn't just a list of ideas he agreed with, it was a catalyst for a fundamental shift in his entire being. But the story doesn't end there, not by a long shot. The impact of this first sermon wasn't just for one person, or even for the 5 students in that park. The sutra describes it as setting off an immediate cosmic chain reaction. The sutra describes this incredible ripple effect. The second that Kandanya understands, the text says 80,000 celestial beings also see the truth. Then, spirits on earth hear it and they shout the news upwards, creating this chain reaction that just shoots through the heavens in an instant. It's this beautiful image of a cosmic broadcast, a message of hope echoing through the entire universe. And that is exactly why this teaching is called the turning of the Dharma Wheel. That first consultation, that first clear diagnosis in the deer park, set in motion a wheel of knowledge, a complete system for understanding and healing that hasn't stopped turning since, spreading all across the globe. So this ancient teaching really leaves us with a very modern question. It's so easy to know things intellectually, right? We know we should be kinder, we know what makes us unhappy, we know what we need to do to be healthier. But the real challenge is moving from just knowing to truly understanding. So the question is, what's the one truth in your own life that you know, but have yet to truly deeply realize?